So putting these stats together is from the 6th of May to the 29th of June. Okay, so we've got sort of 2 months worth of data, and this is while Sandra was on that funded account, okay, while being still within the program. So starting balance at $12,500, and you can see sort of, you know, this is a P&L, and that's the running total all the way through. Okay, now no equity curve. If I just bring up a pen, just give me a second. Let's slow that pen. Yeah, guys, remember this is just a performance session to review, give you an indication to sort of, you know, the progression of our traders, just cover some of the key points that I get asked, rather than sort of doing a market analysis webinar, which has been done previously. Okay, so I've never seen an equity curve that goes like this. Have you? Have you achieved an equity curve that goes, you know, straight up? No, you just don't. It's rare for that to take place. Okay, so when we're looking at sort of the equity curve. Now, what I want to sort of define is, let's just remove this. We're looking at sort of, you know, we're looking at number of trades in this direction, and then we're looking at sort of the balance in that direction. Okay. Now, key points to remember is, you know, wherever you might be starting, your starting point 12.5, 0, whatever it is, yeah. So whatever your initial deposit is, $100, $12.5, whatever it might be, right? What type of equity curve are you looking for, right? Is crucial, okay? So, you know, in some cases you'll have this. This is sort of trader A, right? Who ends, let's just assume he's made 100K, okay? He's at 100K profit, okay? And then we've got sort of trader B, you know, far more volatile, but ends up somewhere there. Okay, let's just assume that's 500K. Okay, 500K there, trader B. Now, which one are you? Which one are you, guys? Which one are you, and which one do you prefer? Okay, do you want to be trader A, you know, consistently, you know, with very little drawdown, consistently trading positively with very little drawdown, but only makes 100K at the state, for example, at the end of the year? Or do you want to be trader B, you know, more volatility involved, but, you know, end of the day, he's made more money. He's made more money, right? He's made 500K, 400K sort of more than trader A. So how many of you would prefer trader A? Okay, trader A all the way through. Anyone prefer trader B? Anyone interested just in that sort of, you know, final balance, that final sort of amount, trader B? Okay, doesn't seem so. Okay, that's fine. I think you've all made the correct decision. You've all made the correct decision, which is, you know, if you think of yourself as an investor, and if you had to invest in one of these traders, right, knowing that, you know, fundamentally this trader B could lose more than half his equity, lose half of his, you know, net worth, right? You know, the next month he could be down here, right? You know, way below trader A, whereas, you know, A has consistently had a lot more profitability in his trading and very little drawdown. Okay, so that's the difference here, guys, is that you need to determine, you know, so what makes a good trader then? What makes a good trader? It's not the actual final balance, so it's not his return on investment. What makes a good trader then, guys?
Consistency.
Consistency, but what else? There's another key part to it. What else?
Progression and consistency, upward trajectory.
There's something else. There's something else. Remember, there's consistency in this chap here, trader B. He's consistent from this point up to that point. He's consistent on the downside, and then he's consistent on the upside as well, right? So there is consistency there. So I wouldn't use consistency as being the key word. Yeah, so I think it's Jonathan. Jonathan's key. Most of you guys are right. So risk management, but fundamentally, it's these drawdowns, right? That's what we want to avoid. We want to avoid sort of large drawdowns. We want to maintain little drawdown. Okay, that's how you define how well a trader performs. Okay, based on his drawdown analysis, right? Okay, so that's what you should look for in your trading results. Look at your drawdown. How you manage your drawdown is super, super crucial. Okay, so let's come back up to these stats here. These okay, so looking at the actual equity curve of Sandra. Okay, right. So how much drawdown has she sort of incurred, guys? Would you say there's a lot of drawdown or very little drawdown?
Very little.
Very little, right? Overall, very little. So that's great. That's the first thing I'm looking at. That's the first thing I'm looking at. So overall, becoming long-term sort of profitable. The key focus for you is that you should be always aiming in the right direction. So if I added a trend line to this, the trend line would be sort of like that. Well, actually, it'd be not like that, but more like that. Okay, so that's the trend line. So she's always sort of incurring sort of an upward trend line. There's always going to be a drawdown. That's just part of trading. It's how you manage those drawdowns, which is key, right? So, in the beginning stages, she has, sort of declining there, not a huge drawdown at all. So that's your first sort of drawdown being taken there, and that's the second. Okay, there was a period from this point to this point where pretty much she'll just break even the whole point. So she's continuously trading from about 80 trades, from 80 trades up to about 97 trades. So that's about sort of a window of 20 trades she had taken, which left with her little results. Now, someone who's in this stage of a hair, and you're sort of, taking 20 trades, it's not gone anywhere. You might say, oh, you know what? I don't believe in my strategy anymore. I don't believe in my strategy. Let me change my strategy. And then that happens because you change the strategy. So the focus shouldn't be on changing your strategy based on a few trades or less than 20 trades in a short period of time. You've got to have belief in your system, belief in your capability, because overall, these stats have been positive. Okay, it's okay if you've been break even or just not losing and not really be making any money for a period of time. That happens, that's part of it. But what happened thereafter? Look at that. Look at that, right? Look at sort of the incline there. And that's continuing, and that's sort of the next drawdown amount, okay? So I think overall, she has done a fantastic job in maintaining very little drawdown, being consistent to her strategy, and just looking at the long-term picture, okay? So in addition to that, if I just remove that, looking at some of her stats, this is her P&L. So this is her P&L. Like all new starting traders, all new starting traders, you're still finding your way around in the beginning days. Okay, you're still finding from your first trade to your 20 trades. Look at this. She was only sort of up on the first 3 trades. Thereafter, she had a streak of losses, right? And then another streak, one little trade there, another streak of losses. So she was still finding her feet, in the first 30 trades. Then she had sort of this win, great win there, okay? Sort of maintaining a little drawdown. She had increased the risk there, okay? She did sort of, increase the risk there, but she still had a couple of sort of positive days there, almost 50 there, almost 50 there. And she had this large win. This large win over here, streaks of losses. Now, it's important to remember you're going to have streaks of losses. Just like you're going to have streaks of wins. So we've got 3 wins there, for example. So it's how you manage these streaks of wins and losses, which is also crucial. Okay. So remember, that's another sort of key point to sort of note down. How do you manage yourself during streaks of losses, especially sort of those initial days, right? So there's an initial point from trade 4 up to sort of trade 12 or trade 11, right? So there's 6 trade sort of consistent losses there. How do you manage that? Okay. Now, some individuals will look to reduce the risk, so they end up not losing the same amount; they lose less, right? So you see sort of an incline there, right? So you sort of see less losses overall. So again, less losses there. If I sort of hone in on these trades, you can see less with these streaks of losses. That's something that you may want to sort of look into if you have these streaks of wins and losses. And now there's it's a fantastic book by a well-known risk manager and who had worked for a number of these top institutional firms, who had monitored thousands and thousands of traders that come through those institutional firms. And the one key point he noted, that the majority of wins being made were only made from 30% of the trades being performed. Okay, so the large wins are going to be the ones that really have an impact to your P&L. Look at when these large wins take place, learn to hold them. So as I mentioned, sort of one of the golden rules of trading is cut your losses quickly, let your winners run. And this is the important art of trading, right? By letting those winners run, you'll have this, this, and this. Right? It's just letting them run, you'll have larger wins. There was a large loss here, which I had discussed with her. Okay, just above the 50 dollar loss on that single trade, which was her largest loss there. But how often did that happen? Very rarely. Most of her losses were sort of in this range here. On average, her losses were in this proportion in comparison to her most recent trading. So, everyone's going to start off a little bit slower. That's, having her first drawdown, her first sets of losses. You've got to be able to sort of find your feet, and then eventually this is where you'll be a high performance trader, okay? Where you're able to do this, maintaining the same limited risk, okay? So that's an important part to trading, is how you manage this, yeah? Any questions, guys? Any questions as we sort of progress here? Any questions? Guys, remember, this is in that AlphaChain Reports channel, so you can download this yourself, review it, right? So, you can even go into a bit more statistical sort of analysis, see, have a look, in regards to what was her hit rate overall, right? What was her hit rate overall? How many buy orders or sell orders did she do? Is she more of a buyer or more of a seller, or is it mixed, okay? Which assets did she trade most commonly? What were the times of trading? All of those stats are actually within our trade blotter. So those stats you can get from our trade blotter when you start to complete that. I did want to share the trade blotter because those are proprietary sort of documents. Those some of you won't have access to later on. But fundamentally, this is sort of the two key important charts that I look at as the first trader discoveries, shall I say. What was the name of that book? We made that discovery. I don't remember it. I don't really remember it. I'm just gonna have a quick look at where was that book. I may not have time to do it now, so it's something that if you just send me a direct message, and then what I'll do is I'll try and see if I can source that on Amazon, and then I'll share the link with you. Okay. Cool. So it's great performance. It shows what you can achieve, guys. It shows what you can achieve in sort of a 2-month period, right? Sometimes some of the guys might moan, the risk I'm taking on this lot, with the lot size I'm taking is tiny. I can't hit the 6% in this period of time. But this proves to you, look, most of our trades are 0.03 lot sizes. Look, 0.03, 0.03. Look at that average lot size there, 0.08. So she slowly started to increase her risk. Then she went to 0.1. So you could see, if we saw sort of the sort of distribution curve on this, or you could probably outline, progression in her trading, So fundamentally, what I see is that this is someone that gained confidence in their system, in their approach over a period of time, okay? And that's what you got to look to do, guys, is find your confidence through live trading. Okay, it's always daunting starting sort of your live trading, and that can be seen in Sandra's as well. It can be seen here as well. But you've got to work at it. Is the key, guys. You've got to work at it. Okay. So that completes this.